Hi Sam, I'm just looking at your geo filters. They look good, but one thing that is happening with these is we are having some issues with it being in the middle of the screen, because the purpose of these obviously is to have them so that people can take pictures behind. So here's an example of one. This is the buffer zone here, so obviously you don't want your art in the buffer zone. So I mean, maybe I could just copy, if I can get a hold of them, Command C, and then just copy them into this document. There we go. Because there were problems with this template file. It was like 1 pixel off for some reason, so I can see why you set up your own document separately for each one of these. But yeah, we don't want them in the middle of the canvas. We want them further down. So maybe just bringing them down. You know, I think you can have some of the design, but none of the actual text in the buffer area. I really do like your combination of fonts here, and you did well outlining them in this particular design. So I'm going to tell you what's not working with this design, other than it being in the middle, is that I believe these are probably image traces. I can tell that they are, which I like the way they look, but technically for this project, we're not supposed to be using any, all artwork needed to be 100% original. So you would have had to construct your fair scene with the tools in here. So like the blob brush tool is a good tool to use. The smooth tool is useful. The pen tool, there's the pencil tool as well. The shape builder tool is a nice one to use when you're trying to make shapes and cut things out with shapes and stuff. So, doing it this way is, I think it looks great, but it doesn't necessarily, for this particular geofilter, doesn't necessarily meet the requirements as far as the artwork goes. The MSU Northern design looks great. You didn't outline this text, but I can still see what your design looks like if I look at the PNG file. So yeah, just remember, outlining the text is usually a good idea, because I am missing the font. I'm not quite sure which font you used for that. So maybe just in the future, if you're using Illustrator, remember to outline texts. Now, if you want to save your text, off to the side outside of your artboard, you can always put it off to the side if you need to ever change it later, but then outline it on your artboard. And then when you do any kind of export out of here, if you want to export any kind of PDF or JPEG or PNG, just remember to check the Use Artboards box, because if you don't, it'll export out a weird looking file with this still included in it, which is kind of annoying that that happens. But you have to check that little art box if you do put stuff in the gray area of your Illustrator document. Let's see, what else do we have here? And then I was going to look at your other design, Heaven Park, AI file. This one looks good. I'm not missing any of these fonts, although you did not outline them. Good idea, like I said, to outline them. Like I said, you can always do this thing where you, move them off to the side if you ever need to edit it later for whatever reason. You have an editable bunch of text there. But one other thing that would have been good to do with this is move it down, because it's in the middle of the screen. So this one could definitely go all the way down to the bottom. And the same one goes for the MSU Northern one. You might want to try and resubmit, because I think that you have a really good chance with especially this one and your MSU Northern one of potentially getting it approved. But they do need to be moved down. And you can always just open up that geofilter template that I provided to you and just copy and paste over the the guides into your files. I don't know how far the text if it should even go into the buffer area with text anyway. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what the Snapchat geofilter team is really wanting, but I know for sure you can have parts of like the design in it, but maybe just not the text. So I think that this could definitely work, especially for these two designs. I think you could definitely get those. This fairground one, I really like the fonts that you used and how you placed them and the border that you created around them, but I think, you know, this part itself would maybe have to be redone in more of a hand-drawn style. But yeah, other than that, I think that everything is looking really nice. I did look at all, let's see, let's take a look at all your PNG files. 35 kilobytes, 86 kilobytes, screenshots proving you submitted. Yeah, and I'm guessing these are the right size, but I'll take a quick look. And let me check and see the size. Image size will tell me. Yep, 1080 by 2340 at 72 dpi. So yep, this is the correct size for sure. I'll check the other files as well, but I'm guessing you probably have those correct. So anyway, you did really well. It's just there were a couple of things with the buffer zones and being in the middle of the screen, and then the one fairgrounds design did not have a hand-drawn element to it. So other than that, though, really good job. Good job following directions, and yeah, keep up the good work.